Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Hola, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast, brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. That's right, we are speaking Spanish only this episode. Just wanted to do the intro. My friend Ty Capone, me llamo Matt McSweeney. No, I'm fucking around. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by Ty Capone. UFC Mexico is in the books, thank God. I think me and Ty had combined our worst night. I mean, I said I was going to, tail Ty after he had a good weekend last week, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I did this to you. I think we both lost 8 units. I am back into the shitter, and it's only February. And I think my year is already over. So that's bad news. I think I'm going to implement a new strategy this upcoming weekend. You're going to see some wild shit from me in the upcoming weeks. But, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, a close decision, split decision. We will talk about all of it. First, we must get, the thoughts and feelings of the world around him from Ty Capone. Ty, how is it down there in the Pete's? What's the weather like? I always like to hear, when it's nice. Oh my God!
74 and sunny. Yeah, it's
Jesus.
beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't lie. It's beautiful. The last couple of days have been nasty in a good way. The next couple of days, I see some clouds, but staying in the mid 60 to mid 70 range. So that's good. There's definitely some beach days ahead. Next Monday, you want to come with, dude? Let's go. We're gonna go to Madeira Beach.
All right.
So.
Well, if you
get a
head
whole
down to
squad
Madeira
going.
Beach, Ty will be signing autographs. If you see him, if you know him, you probably don't even know what we look like, but that's okay. You just hop on our Twitters. That's your fault because you don't know. We don't have a random fighter as our AVI and talking shit to people online. I actually have my real face on there, so let's just get right into it.
I do too.
Let's just get right into it. Yeah, no, I think you do. You definitely have your face.
No, I do. For me, from the Chiefs Birds game.
Yes. It used to be you and Edson Barboza, which was also a sick picture. How about UFC Mexico? We lost one fight. Raul Rosas Jr. I guess he came down with a little bit of a tummy sickness, or I don't know what was going on, but the man could not make the walk. Ricky Tercios has announced that he won that fight, so congratulations to Ricky Tercios. I did not win my bet because of it, but I did actually bet Ricky Tercios before that fight was going to start. I felt disgusting. And then when it got canceled, I was like, all right, good, okay. I was going to lose some more money that I didn't need to lose. But Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, 5 rounds, main event, split decision for Brandon Royval. And I thought that the correct decision was made. I know there was a lot of people thought that Brandon Moreno had won. I mean, in the arena, Brandon Moreno himself... I think the way the fight was playing out, you could have probably given it to either guy. It was really kind of I don't want to say boring, but it was like there wasn't much that happened in this fight. It was kind of them trading a lot of punches back and forth. There was a couple takedowns here and there. It wasn't like no one really got hurt at any point. They might have stung each other a little bit here and there, but honestly, Ty, it really was not an action-packed main event, and Brandon Moreno, whether it be the altitude or just the fact that he was, I guess he hurt his leg at some point. I don't know what the excuse you could create is, but he had nothing. He just did nothing in the last 2 rounds, and I think that's ultimately what cost him, in my mind, because when they were going to decision and you don't really see a referee, Herb likes to get involved as much as he can, but especially when the grappling, he gets bored with the grappling, but
he was so upset with the grappling
clinch
work.
He wasn't doing shit. Like this time I actually got it because I was like, dude, he's just hugging him.
Yeah.
He was hugging him and just leaning him up against the fence, and Royval's like throwing punches and trying to break it up, but he's, there's only so much you can do when a grown man's just holding on to you and you can't, get him off. He had to actually tell them to engage to begin the fight. They circled around the octagon for 1 minute and 30 seconds before anyone really wanted to engage anyone or throw a punch. It didn't, and and maybe this is a dick thing to say. I don't know. It didn't really look like Brandon Moreno wanted to be there. Truly, something was off, dude.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get something, broken hand or a divorce or an illness or something came out. I haven't heard anything since then. So, maybe it was just a bad night at the office, honestly. Maybe, all those wars with Figgy and then the Pantoja fight, maybe it just caught up to him. I don't know. I said Pantoja. Yeah, he did fight Pantoja. Okay. I'm not sure, but the first 2 rounds he looked good, but then he just got outpaced in 3, 4, and 5. Dude, Royval threw 510 significant strikes. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. More than 100 per round. 160 in the fourth, 140 in the fifth. That's just insane cardio, insane pace. I know, obviously, his percentages aren't going to be that good, but it doesn't matter, man. If you're going to outpace a guy, he ended up getting a takedown in the fourth. I know he got taken down a couple times in the third, and there was some control time in the fifth. There wasn't really that much going on in the grappling and wrestling and whatever department. And, the light kicks were pretty much all Moreno. He landed many more, but I thought Royval took 3, 4, and 5. I mean, what do you what do you think of Junichiro Kamijo's 49-46 Moreno card? That was
all 3 judges gave Moreno the 5th round. That I did.
Yeah, which I didn't
agree with. I don't know, but maybe I was just kind of like
so
judging angry
all night. As we'll get into it, was questionable. I guess I have to go back and rewatch the 5th round, but it seems like they pretty much were only all in agreement on 1 round. It looks like, it was the 4th for Royval.
Yeah.
A couple, Mike Bell and Kamijo gave Moreno the first. Chris Lee was all over the place. Chris Lee's always all over the place. Let's just get that one out of the way now. I mean, most of the media scores favored Royval. Somebody on Bloody Elbow gave a 49-46 to Moreno. I love Bloody Elbow. I do not agree with that at all. I thought it was a kind of not clear, but it was close, but a clear 48-47 Royval. First 2 going to Moreno, next 3 going to Royval.
And I understand if you maybe snuck one of them other rounds to Moreno. That's okay. Like, I wouldn't have screamed robbery, but 49-46 to me is insane.
That's wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I kind of left – I was left with the impression that you kind of were. Like, I wasn't really impressed with either guy. I mean, Royval got the win. That's huge for him to, no matter how he got it, to get that win.
Yeah.
Coming off of that Pantoja fight where, he fought really well. And now it's like, does he get that rematch? What's even next for him? And what does Moreno do next? I'm not really too sure what Moreno does. Maybe Albazi, right? Isn't that who he was supposed to fight? So maybe they just run that back. Or maybe you do Royval and Albazi. I don't know. I mean, do you really want to book that Pantoja Royval rematch right away? I mean, there's nobody else. So I'd be down for that. I don't know if they want to do that in Brazil. For 301, 302. Maybe that's something you do, but yeah, I mean, at the top of the flyweight division right now is kind of at a lull, right? It kind of blew up for a little bit. Figgy left. Moreno, if this is a sign of things to come, and he's on the decline, and now you have a new champion, Pantoja, who's probably not going to be hanging around that long, maybe a year-ish, but probably not. I mean, UFC champions, they don't last that long nowadays, right? So you got Albazi coming on hard. Car France, Mateus Nicolau, they ran out of the top 5, and I don't think it gets much better from there. Manel Kopp right outside the top 5, and Makayev. That's it. Yeah. That's really it. I mean, Steve Erceg at 12, he's way down. He needs a couple wins, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's really next for Brandon Moreno. Honestly, I guess it will be Albazi. I guess they'll do like a little mini Grand Prix where it's Pantoja Royval 2, Moreno Albazi. I'm fine with that just because there's not really much else going on, So yeah.
I think Albazi could jump the line too and just go. You could do him and
somebody new.
Yeah, like him and for the title. Like I wouldn't agree with it, but at least it'd be a new face in a sense because I think we all think that Pantoja is just going to do the same thing he did to him last time, just kind of lay on him and really just suck the air out of Royval. And I mean, he's talking about how he might have a torn MCL or something along those lines. Something's wrong with his knee. So who knows what they'll do? I'm kind of I mean, other than Pantoja, like you said, this 25 is really dying for some new blood or some new just a breath of fresh air of some sort. You got Alex Perez getting in there this weekend, who has pulled out of 1,000 fights. So it's actually good to see him get in there. There's the 25. I think you'll get, not the answer you want, but I guess a little bit of a clearer picture after this weekend because there are a couple of bigger time fights. Maybe you could do a Makayev and Albazi or something like that.
That'd be kind of cool.
If Makayev goes out there and makes a statement, who knows? Kai Kara-France kind of just hanging out there. He'll need a fight soon. I don't know if he's actually scheduled. I think he is. I think he's on one of the next couple big fights. I'm not sure though. Who? Maybe I'm just tripping.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
His real name's James, so I don't know what's going on. That always sketches
Kai Kara-France?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
They scheduled the fight Manel Kopp, and then that got canceled. So yeah, that's the last thing that they're.
James.
Yeah, James Kaware Kara-France. So I guess that's where I get Kai from. I don't know.
That's good.
I mean, it's kind of a sick name though, so I guess I would
do
go
like
with
it. Yeah.
So. How about? I guess that's kind of just to wrap that up. It's I think the best days of Brandon Moreno are behind us. I don't like saying that, and we've been wrong about this before. Like we'll talk about in the next fight because some guys can pull a vintage performance out every once in a while, but Brandon Moreno, he's not like what is he really good at? Like the boxing is not that crisp. It didn't look good in this fight. He wasn't really landing with any sort of power. It was all just looping. He wasn't really throwing jabs. There was a lot to that I just left this fight. Like the guy who beat Figgy was not the guy who was in the cage on Saturday night. So I don't know what he has to do, where he has to go from here. But it seems like he's kind of at like a fork in the road, a little bit of a crossroads career-wise. Yeah. And I don't think he's not that old of a guy, is he? I think he's only
30?
Right? Yeah, I mean, he's 30 years old, yeah. So maybe he's not completely cooked, but I think younger the better in those, smaller weight classes. And I don't know, it's more of his game. His game is just not. He kind of reminds me of like the old guard of the 25 division, the Benavidez's and guys of that nature. I don't know. He's kind of just a brawler. He doesn't remind me of some of these other guys. Like he just kind of let Royval dictate the entire fight on Saturday night. So I don't know. It's a good win for Brandon Royval, though. I don't want to take that away from him. And it's either he's fighting the next up or he's fighting for the title next. And I think you're right. I think they're going to need some Brazilian to be involved in that 301 card because that 301 card is going to be hurting for talent by the time that rolls around. So let's keep it moving. How about Brian Ortega, Ty? This was a shocker, and I kind of wanted to talk myself into this on the podcast the week, the lead up podcast, but I just didn't have the sack to do it. I thought Yair, it was gonna land and he was gonna hurt Ortega, which he did. He hurt him pretty bad in the beginning of that fight. Ortega rolled his ankle before the fight even started, which was nuts. I don't know if you see that? Yeah, you saw that, right?
Like it was crazy.
The guy rolls his ankle, and then he's looking at his coaches like, "Oh shit!" Like, guy's gonna fight with a sprained ankle now, and then he gets cracked to begin the fight, and he's on death's door pretty much, survives, and then just goes into Khabib mode and just starts taking Yair down over and over again. And whenever it just was dictating where this fight was going to take place, in that third round, he made it look easy and quick, and got that arm triangle and. It just goes to show you, Ty, that jits is still there, man. His grappling, his submissions are still high level. And congratulations to Brian Ortega. He's a guy that I've always liked in a sense. Like I don't know. I just don't know what it is about him. He seems like he's just about that life. He's always brings the fight whenever he does. Eventually show up. He doesn't fight all that often, but. You can understand it from some of the beatings that he's taken. So it's a great win for Brian Ortega.
Yeah, that arm triangle was nasty. Just beautiful. Honestly, like a beautiful work of art. I'm a big arm triangle guy. I love those. If I were to ever get in a street fight, I'd probably try to get somebody in like a standing arm triangle just because it's so like different, right? Not really that many people are hip to it and don't understand how it goes in and whatnot. Anyway. It was beautiful the way he just quickly got to the mount and then just jumped to the side and put it in. And Yair didn't want to tap for sure, but he fucking had to. There's no other choice. And there was a video of him practicing that same move and that same setup to that move in the back right before he came out. So beautiful. Him and I don't know if it's Henner Gracie, Henner. They've been working together by 20 something years, I think. So just a great moment, honestly, seeing him get that. It was I think his post fight speech it was kind of all over the place, but it was really good. He also didn't want his hand raised. He also almost didn't let go of the submission because he couldn't really hear.
Mark Goddard almost beat his ass, dude. That was wild.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. Get off of him! He was like, "Oh shit, sorry, I didn't know."
Which I understand. If I was in a war like that, I mean, I think Goddard understands it too. He's just like, "Yo, man, what the fuck?"
He couldn't hear right because his nose was fucked. His face was fucked up, right, or something like that.
Well, like he couldn't hear because his ear was like pinned to the guy's shoulder too, and he said he was tapping lightly, so he was like, when he starts shaking his arm. That's the thing, though. If you're not looking and some guy's just like touching you, like if you can't tell, it's like, what if that's like him trying to get you off of his of the submission? He doesn't know, so he's like probably waited until two hands were on his back, and he's like, oh shit, I think this is over. So that's why you got to tap. If you're tapping, you got to tap hard, man.
Or just go to sleep, I guess.
Or just tap or nap.
Tap or nap. But yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, it was a nice comeback win. Definitely not how you want to start the fight, but I said before the podcast, I was like, man, he hasn't got a sub in a couple of years. Is he going to finally do it? And he did. Yeah. So good on him. Just a missed opportunity for Yair, honestly. Like he was talking all that shit about Topuria. Definitely not going to beat Volkanovski, and then he does beat Volkanovski in spectacular fashion. And then Yair loses a fight that he was winning. Yeah. So not sure where he goes from here, honestly. Talk about, the forecast of the future for some fighters. Back to the drawing board. He's just got to work on that ground game, the defense, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, or else he's just not going to make it very far. I mean, Ortega jumps him now in line, so it's Volk, Max, Ortega, Yair, Movsar Evloev. If Yair was to fight Movsar Evloev, how does he stop himself from getting taken down 5-10 times?
Killed probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Movsar Evloev is kind of I think he might be the next guy who can win this belt. I don't know if he will, but I think he could present the best opportunity outside of maybe Max, and that's just because we don't know if Max can go to sleep. Right, his chin's begging to be. Also, he's got Gaethje coming up. I can't even begin to talk about what a Max Topuria fight would look like. He has to go through fucking Justin Gaethje. So good luck to him on that one. It's a bigger guy. Max does look good. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him. He looks
huge,
pretty good. Yeah, he looks big. So that's good. But Gaethje's an animal, and those leg kicks are going to be coming furious.
Is that good? I mean, is that good for getting back down to 45? And when does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, who am I to say? But either way, I think if you look at the rest of the division, I think that's your guy at number 5 in Evloev to challenge next. Topuria's already talked shit on him a little bit. Topuria's coming at everybody. I kind of like it. It's like a subtle fuck you tour. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to. He put a picture or the video of Islam getting KO'd a couple years ago or a long time ago by Adriano Martins. He just put that video on his story. He didn't really say anything. He just put it up. I thought it was so funny. Made a little subtle quote about Habib. That was kind of cool. I mean, why not? When you're on top, remember what Conor was doing when he was saying when he burst onto the scene. And Topuria, before he beat Volk, everyone's like, "Oh man, you're talking too much shit." Now that he did beat Volk, you can say whatever you want. So I think it's kind of. I agree. I just think it's kind of funny how the narrative changed for some people. However, I'm here for it. I love it. I love. When John Jones was calling out all those Hall of Famers that he systematically destroyed, I loved it. So. I'm here for it. And I think this was a huge win for Ortega. He's got his baby mom in the ring now, so he's back. No more Tracy Cortez.
Good.
Maybe that's good. Maybe that's good.
She'll make you crazy, brother.
Yeah. I'm here for it. For me, anyway.
I think he could be next, too.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, his jiu-jitsu presents a huge challenge. He's, is he a lot bigger than Ilia Topuria? I think he's...
So Ortega is 5'8" at 69-inch reach. So they're probably going to be somewhat the same size.
I don't know. I always thought Ortega was like tall as fuck, but
he does have like longer legs. I don't know if that. Maybe it's just an appearance thing because he.
Yeah, it might just be.
And Topuria is 5'7", 69-inch reach, so they would probably pretty much be the same size.
I'd be here for that. I'd be down for that 100%. But
I would take Ilya, but I'd probably take Ilya against almost anybody at this point. So I think
I'm taking Ilya against anybody.
It's more of he has to go through the division and get rid of all these guys first before we start, talking about him fighting Islam and stuff like that. Because I would be down with it just as a fight, but I know the UFC will not let that. They're not gonna hold up the 45 division or fuck it up but. It should be Max, but I am under the assumption that something bad is going to happen to Max in that 300 fight.
Especially when you try to, schedule him in for the next title shots. Like, that's a little dangerous to do. You never know what's coming around the corner.
Not only might he get his head ripped off into the upper deck, he also might have trouble making 45 in the time period that you need. Because I imagine Ilya will probably be ready by July. It's still February, if he's unless he's gonna go on this whole tour and he's not gonna fight until they want to do that Spain fight at the end of the year, then they could. But I think you probably want to capitalize as soon as possible.
Right, you probably do Volk.
You could
there. I kind of would like Ortega there just because he does speak Spanish. Obviously, he's of Mexican descent and he's American, but still, it would be a nice storyline. He seems like a nice guy. He's, very, very religious. So I don't know how, maybe him and Taporia, mince some words, but, I just think this is a huge setback for Yair is my big takeaway from this.
All right. So how about Daniel Zellhuber taking care of business against Francisco Prado? This was a bad bet by me. I just should have stayed away, but Prado gave me what I wanted. Yeah, the good first round in him. He was landing some shots. He was hurting him a little bit, but Zellhuber, this is to me one of his best performances. Kind of just proved that he is the guy that we think he is, and kind of just showed that he's not just all hype. He was firing that jab out there, firing that front kick. He was hitting Prado pretty much whenever he wanted to. Prado was just all looping wild shots from the outside. And Zellhuber was kind of keeping him off of him and making him look easy. And the more the fight went on, the stronger Zellhuber got. And I don't know if it was a factor in this fight, but excuse me, I almost just threw up on the mic. Ty, I would say that the elevation was a factor. It obviously always is. And this, we talked about how there's not a fight under 155 here on this whole card, but you could just tell in some of these fights where these guys who were training at elevation and some of these guys who weren't training at elevation and just weren't ready to go. And it's I don't know if necessarily I think Prado would have looked like this in every single version of this fight, just because this is just how he fights. He tries to kill guys, and he looked pretty good. Just like he wasn't going to roll over and die, but it was just he was taking a pretty good beating here by Daniel Zellhuber.
Yeah, he had good leg kicks. Good body work. He wasn't able to find the head, really.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize he was only 21. I thought he was 25, 4, 6. 21 for Prado to get these rounds in, to go the distance with somebody this talented. Just putting in the work, really. I think by the time he is 25, 26,
he'll be scary.
As long as he's still around, as long as he does get the development and the training and all that, as long as that happens, which is, progress is not linear, especially in MMA. But I like what the base anyway. He just, for somebody that was so green coming in here, regional scene, he was just knocking guys out. He's pretty solid, man. I don't know if he's the complete package yet. I see him face some different kind of fighters, see how his groundwork is really. But I'm not totally discouraged with his performance. But yeah, I do think he does have a problem finding the head, finding the target. Swings wild. Just needs to hone it in more. But yeah, pretty good performance from Zellhuber. Again, he's still young, 24 years old. He's still learning, getting better. And it was just a pretty good. I thought it was a pretty decent prospect versus prospect fight that we'll know a lot more about these guys just even one year from now.
I think Prado just doesn't realize how powerful he actually is, and he doesn't need to throw those wild looping shots. If he just threw shit straight up the middle with more technique, that I think he would be hurting people and getting them out of there at almost the same clip. He could pull that out every once in a while, those wild shots and those crazy overhand rights, but when you're fighting a technical guy like Daniel Zellhuber, who's longer than you, who's quicker than you, he's going to get to you before you get to him. and it kind of showed throughout this fight. So good win for Daniel Zellhuber. I'll be curious to see what's next for him or where they go from him. I mean, this is a fight between two guys who are probably right outside the top 15. So I could see them doing Zellhuber and maybe a Drew Dober or something like that in the near future. That would be kind of sweet if you ask me.
Or Dober Prado.
Yeah.
They both look, they look the same.
Yeah, literally the Argentinian Prado or the Argentinian Dober. I think you sent that to me or somebody sent that to me, and I was like, God damn, that's true. He's just taking a beating, just throwing nukes back and forth.
Yeah.
How about Yasmin Jauregui? This was not an impressive performance from Yasmin. Maybe she's not as good as I like to think, or as the rumors were surrounding her. I mean, she was chipping up Sam Hughes a little bit, but Sam Hughes, she wasn't even really close to getting her out of there. Really, this fight was just kind of one-sided, and Sam Hughes was never going to win this fight. She was always up against it, but I thought Yasmin had a little bit more power in her hands than what she showed on Saturday night. So it's just good win for Yasmin, but I think as she moves her way up, she's going to continue to run into some trouble.
Yeah, Sam Hughes couldn't really get any of those takedowns, but it seemed like she was kind of close in some ways and then just couldn't finish it. I feel like if that's anybody else that's more polished or bigger, stronger, they could probably get Yasmin down, honestly. I don't know if her takedown defense is really going to look that good against the next level of fighters or, a tier higher. Sam Hughes is just, she's 8-6 now, she tries hard. She has a good team. She's not really athletically gifted at all. She's not fast. She doesn't have power. She doesn't have a well-rounded arsenal, a well-rounded game. She's just kind of like painfully average all around. She got her nose busted up early, but she was able to, keep it going at least. And yeah, that's on Yasmin to try to go out there and get a finish or at least put the pressure on her. And she just didn't do it. So yeah, kind of disappointing. She was getting her legs chewed up a little bit from Sam Hughes. At distance, the strike totals were very close. I know she did hit her every single shot was just much quicker and harder, but still, man, you got to put somebody like that away. You got to make a statement, especially coming back from a devastating KO loss. But still, she's 24 too. We'll see what happens with her in the future. Just hopefully she takes some time off, just so she can get her game well rounded and just improve, make steady improvements. And then we'll see what whatever she can do here in her next fight at strawweight. She does have a good base. It seems like the potential is definitely there. I just, are we ever going to see it? Well, I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we will have to find out. She's going to have to make some leaps and bounds. And like you said, I think we just need a statement or two wouldn't hurt every once in a while. I know that that's not how the game goes and wins are wins, but, as we've learned throughout, it's a telltale sign when you can't get girls like this out of there. And then when you're going up the ladder and you're fighting, an Angela Hill, who kind of fights in a similar fashion, are you going to be able to survive? Is Mackenzie Dern going to be able to get her down? Like, probably. Who knows? Amanda Hebos, Marina Rodriguez, who knows? That's what you're going for. That's as you make your way up. That's what's waiting for you. So, I lost my page, but here we go. Manuel Torres took care of Chris Duncan. We were wrong on this one, Ty.
Yeah,
this was tough. This was pretty easy too. Manuel Torres rear naked choke, 1 minute and 46 seconds. Where do we go from here, Ty?
I don't know. Torres looks good, man. Somebody said he should fight Patty next. That'd be scary for Patty. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect him to work the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling, but that was just my fault. It was just a bad read, honestly, by your boy. So. Not much more really else to say. Chris Duncan's just got to get back on the horse.
Yeah, he made
another lightweight contender, it seems.
Yeah, really. He looked scary.
Young fighter, young prospect. I don't want to say contender, but...
There was a couple of Mexican fighters who made their jiu-jitsu look pretty elite. One guy who did not was Christian Quinones. He got rear naked choked by Hayoni Barcelos. This one hurt because I thought we were on the right track here with Hayoni being the older gentleman, but this is a third round submission. Sorry, I thought that was a second round, but hey, good. This is a good bounce back win for Hayoni Barcelos. I don't know if it's even bounce back. Yeah, it was, right? He lost to Kyler Phillips, lost to Umar. Yeah. He had lost 3 of his last 4 going into this fight. So fighting the Mexican fighter on Mexican soil, It is a good W for him. I am out on all Quinoneses from now on.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think I am as well. I thought he was going to be. He staved off the ground submission game for a little bit, and then as soon as it got there, he was toast. So,
how about I lost my spot as well? I think we are at Jesus Aguilar and Matus Medoncha. Close enough. Whatever. This was a split decision for Jesus Aguilar. Two judges had a 29-28. The other one also had a 29-28, but going the other way. The two judges had it the same way, which was the first 2 rounds for Jesus, the last round for Matus. But the only mix-up here, I believe, was Eric Colon gave Medoncha the first round as well, but the other guys did not. So did you agree with this decision? I know you had Mr. Medonca inside the distance, and that wasn't going to hit. But what did you agree with the decision? I guess I should ask.
I have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
I thought Medonca. I really don't know how it's pronounced. Honestly, I should be paying attention, but no. I mean, it was close. I thought Medonca won. I don't know. The media scores were split down the middle pretty much, but yeah, no. I mean, a tougher fight to score than the Altamirano dos Santos one, but yeah, I don't know. I thought Matus did enough. He just fucked himself over by fighting like an idiot again. Yeah. I think he just kind of headhunts a lot. Not one leg kick did he throw or land. I'm sorry, he was 0 for 1. The wrestling game, I don't know. He got reversed a couple times. I think he went for. Did he go for another leg lock? I think he might have went for another heel hook leg lock submission, and that put him in a bad position. Just
don't go for them.
Yeah, it seems like it never works. Once in a while, it works is when it's with a legit, leg lock guy, and even those guys don't get it. Look at Puelas. Yeah. Look at Ryan Hall. Those guys can't get them either. Those leg lock guys do not really belong in the UFC, as we've seen. And Medonca's not a leg lock guy. That's the craziest part. I hope he can just try to reel it in, and him and his camp can get something through to him. I know he's only 25, but he is now 0-3 in the UFC. So it's tough. It's gonna be tough to bounce back from that. Hopefully they give him like a layup in his next flyweight fight. We'll see
if he even gets one.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about him. Jesus Aguilar he got another dub. He looked pretty good 2-1 now after losing to Tatsuro Taira, which is tough. We'll see what he's got. He's very, very, very small, 62-inch reach at flyweight. I don't know if that's really going to get the job done at the end of this, but we'll see. We'll see.
No, this one had to be tough for you. I know this is an emotional battle. I know you had been riding the ups and downs with Daniel Lacerda throughout all of this. He is now 0-5-1 in the UFC after getting triangle choked. He has been finished in every single fight that he's had in the UFC. That is remarkable in itself. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted twice. He gets triangle choked by Edgar Chairez, ending their saga and probably ending Lacerda's UFC career, hopefully.
Yeah, no, he's done. I'm surprised he hasn't been cut yet. Just terrible. Terrible fight IQ, terrible everything. Get him out of here. Also, did you know, fun fact, Edgar Chairez was once guillotined by Jesus Aguilar.
Wow.
Fun fact for you. In the 5th round, at the very end of the 5th round of their fight on the regional scene a couple years ago. So maybe they just run it back. Yeah, they should run it back. Rematch.
I'm in. Why not? Guillotine choke, at the very end of the 5th round. That must have been a wild night there. How about Fares Ziam? However you want to say it. This was I hate to just rip off the beginning, but it was boring. This is a boring fight.
Claudio Puelas stinks.
He stinks. Yeah, from excitement level is absolutely awful. I thought, I had the sub here. I thought a couple times he was getting close, threatening it a little bit, but he never really got there. And this was a split decision, and I probably agreed with the judges here because I think I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but off the top of my head, I think he probably won the first one, Claudio. And then that's pretty much it. I think, one judge gave him the 3rd round, which Raul
Salas.
Yeah, not sure about him. But like Mike Bell had all 3 for Zaim. I don't agree with that. And, these judges were all over the place. Chris Lee had the second round for Claudio Puelles, which I guess, maybe, I don't know. Like, I think the first and the second were, I don't know what was going on here.
I honestly gave all 3 to Ziam just because when you look at the judging criteria, you have to do something with the striking. You don't look at the grappling unless the striking is even. And now I'm not saying that Ziam was unloading on him, but just by default, he was doing more.
Yeah.
Claudio Puelles was 4 of 9 in the entire fight on significant strikes. 15 minutes, he threw 9 significant strikes. That's insane. Yeah. Like, that is pathetic. That should get you cut. In a world where Brendan Loughnane didn't get a UFC contract on the Contender Series because he went the distance and got a win, you have guys like this that are fighting in the UFC who are throwing 27 total strikes. No matter where you are in the fight, you're throwing 27 total strikes in 15 minutes. That is insane. Insane.
Hugging a guy's ankle.
Yeah. He was close-ish a couple times, but dude, in the second round, he didn't land a strike. Yeah. Like, what? He didn't land a significant strike, I should say. That is just pathetic. His wrestling, yeah, sure, he was able to get him down and whatnot. Ziam definitely has to work on his ability, his takedown defense. I do like Ziam's ability to get back up. However, you cannot get taken down. There's going to be guys that are going to be able to hold you down. Puelles did some good things trying to wrap the legs and whatnot, but his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu isn't that great, isn't that well-rounded. He's kind of just a leg lock guy, right? Yeah, so a decent win for Ziam. I mean, fighting guys like that is never easy. You're never really going to look good. I mean, Ilia Topuria couldn't do anything against Ryan Hall for 4.5 minutes, and then he finally found his opening and smashed him in the dirt. So it's tough. I feel bad for Ziam. He's probably going to get some pushback for this fight. He's still young. I think he's only 26.
I do like his
kick. Yeah, I do like his kick. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I do like his. I feel like I don't remember him fighting that much at all.
I know, me either.
I do remember the McKinney fight. Obviously, that was a bad look, but McKinney's doing that to a lot of guys, at least in the first round. Don Madge, yeah, it was probably a bad loss, but that was his first UFC fight. Yeah, I mean, he got submitted twice before the UFC, and since that McKinney fight, he's 3-0, and he's fought 3 guys. I think 2 guys who are ground guys in Figlak and Puelles, and then beating Jai Herbert, who's more of his kind of style of fighting. I don't know. I like him a little bit more than most of the other French fighters.
Yeah,
we'll see how Morgan Charrier does in his next fight. I don't know who he is fighting, but I thought I do remember him and Lapalus too. We'll see how Lapalus does. I think he's a little older. Charrier still in his 20s. Yeah, he's fighting Sungwoo Choi. That should be a good one.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I like his movement. I like his inability or his ability to not get hit. I do like some of his boxing. I just wish he threw his hands more. That's how I am. That's how I feel about most of these French fighters. A lot of them are kickboxing heavy, but they don't throw their hands enough. If Cyril Gane threw his hands more than he did, he would look much flashier. So, yeah, we'll see where we go from here with Ziam. Claudio Puelles, he's 5-3 in the UFC, which is crazy, but I'm good on him.
Yeah, me too. I'm okay. How about Ronaldo Rodriguez? Lazy boy taking care of business with a rear naked choke. Bondart was getting close to that sub. We were. I thought we were getting. In that first round, he was threatening it, but he was getting beat up. He was getting chipped up on the feet, and I think that this is a case of the elevation really coming into play here because Bondar gassed out radically, especially in that second round. Once that second round started, it was like somebody had shot the gas tank and it was leaking as he was driving down the street. So. Shout out to Walt White at the end of Breaking Bad, but this
he looked good.
Yeah, he did look good. And the grappling was on fire. I think he even picked him up at one point and threw him. He looked good, but it's just that doesn't win you. Looking good doesn't win you a fight. And Lazy Boy took care of business, so it's a good finish and a good win for Ronaldo Rodriguez.
Yeah. I couldn't say it better myself, honestly. I thought the Bondar bet looked good after the first round. And the second round started, I'm like, oh, no. Now he's getting not taken down, but he's getting reversed.
Yep.
Now he's getting threatened with a sub. And I thought he was just going to get it out of the second round. And nope, taps right at the very end. And that's all she wrote for Mr. Bondar. He's probably done in the UFC, if not now, very soon. He's 0-3. He's been finished twice, almost 3 times. So,
yeah, they might give him one more. But I don't know. I don't know if I would even agree with it. But
I guess if you give him Lacerda, maybe they fight.
God, no, please. Lacerda's got to go.
Or Medonsa and Bondar. The
That'd be
loser
nice.
Goes home.
Loser goes to the regional scene. That'd be a nice WWE gimmick sort of thing to get going. How about Felipe Dos Santos split decision victory over Victor Altamirano? This was an entertaining fight, I should say, not a crazy exciting fight, but back and forth. I thought Felipe had done enough to win. I don't think I would have disagreed with any card that you pulled out. Miguel Jimenez gave all 3 rounds to Victor Altamirano, so 30-27, and then the other two had 29-28, both with Felipe Dos Santos winning 2 and 3. So maybe somebody's got to go talk to Miguel Jimenez. I think he was sipping a little bit of the Mexican Kool-Aid there at a certain point, and maybe it got to his head. But how about a good win for Felipe Dos Santos? I like both of these guys, to be honest. So this is 25 is rich with talent.
Yeah, I this is another one I guess I have to rewatch. I was watching with a couple guys who I just met at the bar. I just got done. I thought Altamirano won 2 at least of the rounds. I thought he won 1 and 2 just because he was the striking was kind of even-ish, and I thought he was doing enough, especially with the front kicks, the kicks in general. He was going to the body very well. He wasn't really landing headshots, and maybe that's what did it. Maybe the fact that he wasn't landing shots at all to the head, really, maybe that's what influenced the judges. Maybe like, the striking isn't even. Maybe he's losing the striking, but I don't know. I thought it was even-ish, and then the wrestling was pretty much all him. 9 of 11, shout out to Bush, on takedowns, 5 minutes of control. I don't know, man. I don't know. All 3 rounds is wild.
You can't just shout out Bush in the middle of that and not expect me to fucking laugh, dude.
I don't know. Again, I have to rewatch this fight. Not that I have that much interest in doing so, but I do like Dos Santos. I just think the takedown defense, again, it just is not good. It's not good at all. Altamirano seemingly got him down even when his plan A wasn't working. So I don't know. I have some questions about him. He's also very young. There's a lot of young fighters on this card, so obviously we're going to see some greenness, if you will. He's only 23, and that was only his 9th pro fight. So, yeah, I swore he lost. I was happy he won because I like him more than Altamirano. I don't think Altamirano was that good, but yeah, just another weird judging, scoring decision. Very odd night of fights.
Definitely a very odd night of fights. And like you said, the judging was very suspect throughout the card. So, this was just another example of that. And again, if they would have read Victor Altamirano, I would not have been like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, that's I saw some people, like, the Moreno, my original thought was 48-47 Moreno, but then the more I thought about it and I watched back, like, the last little bit of the fight, and I was like, yeah, like, he wasn't doing shit. So it's like, I do understand. So when it's close like that, I can't get too upset about the judging. I will get upset about 30-27, though, for Victor Altamirano. That's just insane. But Naimov, the Hillman, this is not exactly how we thought it was going to go down, but Eric Silva's knee explodes up against the fence. And that's it for him. So 44 seconds, and he's probably done. I don't know if the UFC gives him another chance. He's an older gentleman, 36 years old. Injuries.
Let's hope not.
Not good. Ends the fight early. Hillman gets that inside the distance for us. The only bet that we both won the whole night, and that was UFC Mexico City. All right. Yeah, that's I don't know what else to say. Performance of the night one of them goes to Brian Ortega. The other one goes to Manuel Torres. I think both worthy, people of earning that $50,000. And then fight of the night, Zell Huber Prado. Well, and I think that's probably the right decision as well. That was an entertaining back and forth fight. And I don't think any other fight was really worthy of that because some of these other decisions were real boring snooze fest. So that is UFC Mexico. We had a little bit other action throughout the MMA world community. The PFL Bellator card was this past weekend from where was it, Ty?
I believe it was Riyadh.
Riyadh season is still in ebbs and flows. We are still going. I mean, we got Joshua and Ngannou are releasing basically movie trailers for their fight that's going to happen later on this year. So that's one thing. Renan Ferreira I mean, this when I saw them two standing next to each other, I was like, "Holy shit!" I should have bet this instead of even betting any of the UFC fights because
honestly,
I felt like I was like, "Oh wow, this is a lock city." And these were only 3 5-minute. Like they were only doing 3 rounds for these, which I didn't know that, and I'm glad I didn't know that because I would have probably been. Well, actually, if I had known that, I wouldn't have even been thinking about betting them because I would have been like, "Yeah, fuck that." But Johnny Emblin, I guess he gets to keep his porn star girlfriend. He does win a split decision. He almost got eliminated by Impa Kasaganai at a certain point in that fight. Jason Jackson just destroyed Ray Cooper. That was a tough scene for him. Nemkov gets the arm triangle choke, Ty's favorite submission. Yoel Romero in a battle of senior citizens takes out Thiago Santos. AJ McKee.
Thiago retired.
He should have.
Yeah.
He should have. I don't know that for a fact, but he definitely should have. AJ McKee with a triangle armbar of Clay Collard. That was quick and easy. Aaron Pico just eliminates Henry Corrales, gets that dub back. That was right towards the end of the first round, and Biagio laid on that man Palacio for a while. Clarissa Shields wins a split decision. Other than that, kind of just the rest of just a bunch of names who were fighting.
Yeah, just
a couple Saudi Arabian guys that took W's, they were probably fixed. The other guys got paid off. Who knows? So there you go. That was the PFL Bellator card. Seize the Throne is the name of. I wonder what they were calling the cage. I didn't tune into the pay-per-view, but this was just I did see some of the highlights of the Eblin fight. I watched a little bit of the Jackson fight because I love Jason Jackson. I wish he was in the UFC.
Eblin got rocked hard.
He did, dude. That was bad.
Impa.
And Impa hits hard, man. And Ray Cooper, the Michael Jordan of PFL. Not to be confused.
Yeah, I guess he's in his Wizards era.
Yeah. Brada boy.
Yeah, PFL has their first Europe card coming up this Thursday. Or next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, headlined by Cedric Doumbé and then the Lazy King, I believe that's his name, Abdul Abdurakhmanov in the co-main. Didn't he lose his? No, he won. Oh no, okay, I thought he lost, but he pulled off. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. He's in the co-main, and then there's a bunch of fights at 155 and 170 that I don't know anything about any of these fellas, but maybe we'll see a prospect emerge. There's some guys with good records. Who knows what any of that means? I don't even know what PFL Europe the future is. The regular season, I guess, for 2024 starts on the 4th of April, apparently, but there's no card yet. I'm not sure what's going on in the PFL world.
I mean,
but yeah.
Not to we don't have to lie to these people. We don't give a shit either way. I won't speak for you. I don't care whatsoever.
No, I don't either.
Who cares about PFL or the regular
season? Yeah, I wish there wasn't a regular season, but I mean, it looks like it's scheduled for the regular season to be in the United States, and then the playoffs start in Scotland. So I don't know what we're doing there, but
to each his own. I guess if it's paying the bills, I don't want more fights the better for me, honestly. Because sometimes on Friday, I like when they have their fights on Friday nights when nothing else is going on. And I could just sit at the bar and watch them and not be interrupted, especially when they're on like regular ESPN. But if they're on ESPN Plus, then it does really nothing for me. I'm not pulling that up on my phone to watch that. But was there any boxing this past weekend?
Yes, our boy Junto Nakatani looked good. He improved 27-0, beat the brakes off of Alejandro Santiago. Left right hook combo. Just pretty much smashed him in the 6th round. He won pretty much every part of this fight. And he's just getting better and better, man. He's 26. There's already comparisons to Naya Inoue, whose brother fought on the co-main event in this fight. Maybe Nakatani fights Inoue's brother and then tries to fight Inoue in a couple of years at a higher division. I'm not sure. He is big for 118. Takuma Inoue is his name. He's pretty small, but he got a nice body shot knockout win on this card. That was in Tokyo. So we'll see what's going on with Nakatani. He's good, man. Again, I didn't see this coming, but maybe he fights the other Maloney brother. Try to get some get back for Jason. Maybe Andrew steps up. I think that's the right brothers. In Orlando, just down the block from me, Edgar Berlanga got a victory over your cousin Paddy McCrory. Yeah. Honestly, he knocked him out for sure in the 6th round. But
fucking killed him, dude. I saw that.
He didn't land a punch. Edgar Berlanga did not in the 1st round. So Doesn't really have a jab. He just, he's just not very good. He's still young. I know he is 22-0, 26, nicknamed the Chosen One. I'm not sure about that, but he needs a lot more seasoning. I see the Canelo side is trying to angle for a fight with him in the future. That is just disgusting and just sad. I know he's in his Floyd Mayweather era, right? I know he wants to pick whatever fights he gets now, and he's teamed up with Eddie Hearn, so he's looking at Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga, two Hispanic gentlemen that shouldn't be in the ring with Canelo. If I'm being honest, I think they should just fight each other. He should fight Benavidez. Obviously, we know this, but Benavidez is moving up. He said, "I'm not waiting for Canelo. I'm going to move up to 175, fight Kavocic, maybe fight better BF winner, and then maybe move down if Canelo wants smoke." I like that from Benavidez. He is a big boy too. There's been rumors of him talking about moving up to heavyweight eventually, just because he was a big kid his whole life, and he's a big fella still. Maybe it's a little premature, but either way, the David Benavidez train is moving on without Canelo Alvarez. So, and there's a lot of boxing fans that are pissed at Canelo, and I'm one of them. I don't like this, Munguia, Charlo, Berlanga fight, any of those fights over David Benavidez. That's the one fight to make, And even when he was talking about fighting Bivol, we're like, yeah, it's you're biting off more than you can chew. Again, don't do that. Just fight what makes sense, and he just doesn't want to do it. So that's unfortunate. But we have Andy Cruz in the co-main on this card before the Berlanga fight. Beat the shit out of Brian Zamaripa. Just won every round, every minute.
Yeah.
He's good, man. He's so good. I wish he got the knockout, but I think he could have gotten the knockout. But again, he's only 4-0 now as a pro. He's still getting some rounds. I don't think he's lost a round as a pro. And he's fighting some guys that, are great, but for this early in his pro career, they have fights. Zamaripa has never been knocked out. So good on Andy Cruz. He looks nasty. Keyshawn Davis should probably try to keep avoiding him as long as he can at 135, 140. So we'll see what he does in the future. And other than that, I don't think there's anything else going on. So,
dude, if you go on like Tapology and you click through some of the fights that are coming up this weekend, I implore some of you people out there to just go read some of the names of the cards that they have like coming up. Like the names of them are hilarious. All eyes on Brussels 9, dude. That's one of the ones that's happening this upcoming weekend. This is Thursday. We have a guy who's 15-0. This is a boxing one though. Masoudi. I don't know who this gentleman is. Anas.
Yeah.
But he looks scary. He looks Italian, but he's not. So that's interesting. So there you go. I saw that Berlanga conversation with the Canelo, but again, I think you said it to me, and I agree. Like a lot of these guys that Canelo fights, it's like some of the Floyd Mayweather stuff. Like when Floyd was like talking about his last fight, and then it was like Andre Berto. It's like, oh man, like we're not even gonna get like a good one to go out on. Like this, obviously you're gonna kill this guy. Ryan Garcia, Coke. Definitely cocaine involved, right? Because that he's hanging out with De La Hoya, and
Oh yeah, you know how Oscar gets down.
Yeah.
Also, Ryan Garcia squashing the beef that he had with Bernard Hopkins. I don't know why they thought. Yeah. So they're good now. They're good, and Ryan Garcia is talking about how he beat the shit out of Sean O'Malley. Obviously he's not focused on Devin Haney because he thinks he's going to beat him easily. Devin Haney's going to beat him the fuck up, and I can't wait.
Devin Haney said that he disrespected his religion, and Ryan Garcia said all he said to him was "Merry Christmas." These guys, like some of the fight beef that people have, it's like you just don't like each other. You guys don't have to make excuses up. Like
boxers are just we're in a MMA space where we have a lot of dummies that are in MMA. When you go over to boxing, you listen to some of their trash talk and some of the things they say to each other, and not even what they say in general. You're like, yo, boxers are fucking dumb.
Yeah,
and they are. They're pretty dumb. And I mean, you're only getting punched in the face and the body, primarily your whole career, your whole life. And boxers, it seems like, train or start their careers at a much younger age, so much more head trauma. I saw a video the other day. This guy, he's like this trainer in this gym, and he has these two kids that are like 8, just going to war with each other. I saw that, and I was like, "Yeah, this is crazy." And people in the comments are ripping him. He's like, "Yo, they got headgear on." I'm like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah, you like these people shouldn't like. If you like are seeing that video and you're a kid and you're like, "Yeah, that like, yeah, we're gonna be champion one day, then you're a bit as big of a problem as that fucking guy is.
Yeah, they're not even teenagers yet, and you're like, yo, the one kid's amateur record is 9-0, the other kid's 13-0. Everyone's like, yo, that makes it worse. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like these kids should not be fighting like that. Like, but
they're going to war. Their faces are bloodied up, their noses, but they're standing there as courageous champions who are respecting each other after beating the fuck out of each other. I'm like, bro, these kids should be watching SpongeBob or whatever the new era of SpongeBob. Yeah, put them on.
They're probably a little too old for Bluey, but so we got one of the and Ty, I think this isn't a hyperbole when I say this. This is easily one of the worst cards the UFC has ever put together. I think this upcoming weekend.
I'm not as down on it as you are, but it's not. I mean, the main event is as underwhelming as could be, in my opinion. Rosenstruik, we said after his last fight, well, at least we have to never see him in a main event again. And they're like, no, we got another one.
But wait, there's
Shamil
more.
Gaziev. Yeah, Shamil Gaziev. I do like him, but I mean, he's 1-0 in the UFC.
Do you think he wins? Just a little spoiler alert for people out there.
I do. I think he has a ground game and he has a devastating power. He kind of reminds me of Pavlovich. Not
so much bigger than him too.
Yeah, not as devastating power-wise as Pavlovich, but I do like his ground game also. I mean, he fought that fellow on the Contender Series who wasn't good, the Viking King, Greg Velasco, who's repping Rider University, baby.
Yeah.
He choked him out fairly easily in the first. But before that, he knocked out Darko Stosic, who also just got a huge win over the weekend over Mateja Scheffel in KSW. So that's good for Mr. Stosic. He also looked yacked out of his mind. I'm sure he was on some supplements that may or may not be passable in the United States. I'm not sure. Tomas Adamek, former heavyweight boxer, won via hand injury in the main event of that fight, of that card. So little shout out to Stosic. But yeah, I think Gaziev probably wins. I just think Rosenstruik, I think he's pretty much done. I mean, he's 35. He's been knocked out many times now. The Almeida rear naked choke was quick and easy. And whenever you get him down, he pretty much doesn't know how to get up or doesn't know how to move. Kind of like Derek Lewis, but even worse. Derek Lewis at least can kind of stave you off, right, for a couple minutes. He can kind of stay out of trouble a little bit. I think the Dodgers went deep in the spring training game. Yeah, let's go. Opposite field. Shohei Ohtani.
Wow.
Welcome to LA, baby.
You're just talking about how this guy fucking went down in the first match.
Yeah.
That's what
he did. He went down looking. And then he ground to a double play in the second one, but now he goes deep.
Love that for you.
So yeah, just obviously the pitcher that he faced was
high level
former Cy Young winner. But yeah,
we'll get into it more.
Gaziev wins.
Yeah, we'll get into it more.
Just real quick, just to wrap it up, I do think Gaziev wins. And this card in general, I kind of like the co-main, Tyson Pedro, Vitor Petrino, two big dudes, two guys who hit hard. Petrino got a sub in his last fight, so it's like maybe he's rounding out his game for 205. So it's a big chance for one of them to, at least try to crack the top 15, or at least right outside of the top 15 at light heavyweight. Mokaev is back against Alex Perez. It's kind of a tough vet for him. Urseg Schnell, they're finally getting down. They were supposed to fight a bunch or a couple times.
Yeah, that's a good match.
Umar getting back in there against the fellow who I've never heard of, but Beksat Almakan, 17-1. I assume that 17-1 record's a little bit inflated, if you will. So anytime Umar's in there, it's good. This seems like a step down for him. I guess he was supposed to fight somebody else, but no, I don't think he actually was. So
no, nobody apparently will fight him. That's been the big conversation.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if Rosas Tercios gets added to this main card. That would make it a lot better, but still, when we're opening the card up with AJ Cunningham and Vinicius Oliveira, Bernardo Sopoc, never heard of him. Not great.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do the Rosas because it's apparently it's not going to happen now. I don't know. That's what because it was on here when I looked at it earlier. But now it's not, so I don't know if they've I guess ruled against it or if because it didn't look like Mr. What's his name? Fucking Tercios. No, not McSweeney. James McSweeney. He's 43. I just looked him up the other day. Not my brother. He's younger than that. Rosas, Tercios didn't want to do it because he was saying that Rosas, quit and he quit in front of the Mexican people and that I won and the rebooking it is fake news and that's not going to happen and all that. So we'll see what happens. I think they should just have these guys fight and get it over with. But
yeah.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hotbox. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I'm Todd Capone.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for subscribing. And make sure you tip your waiter and bartenders when you're out, because these people need the bread as much as you do.